All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to put on our detective hats. Why? Because we're tackling statistics. And honestly, that's what it is. It's about becoming a data detective, cracking open sets of numbers to find the secret stories hidden inside. No super complex formulas today, just pure, simple investigation.
You see, every pile of data tells a story. And our job as detectives is to figure out what that story is. So as we look at our very first case file, the big question we need to ask ourselves is, what are these numbers actually trying to tell us? Let's crack this case together.
And here it is, our first case file. It's a list of marks from 15 students. Now, at first glance, it's just a jumble of numbers, right? A bit of a miss. This is exactly what we call raw data. Think of it as a pile of unprocessed clues. Our very first job is to bring some order to this chaos.
Now, every good detective has a plan, so here's ours. First, we'll tackle that jumbled data. Then we'll organize the evidence. After that, we'll uncover the central clue, which is the fun part. We'll wrap up with a summary to close the case, and then it's going to be your turn to test out your own detective skills.
Okay, let's get started. Part 1, the case of jumbled data. It's time to stare right into that chaos and start making some sense of it.
So, let's get this term down. Raw data. I want you to think of it like a shoebox full of evidence that's just been dumped on your desk. You've got fingerprints, random notes, photos, all mixed up. That's our list of student marks right now. It's all there, but it's not very useful. Yet.
And that leads us perfectly into our second phase, organizing the evidence. This is where the real detective work begins. We're going to grab our tools and start looking for patterns that were totally invisible just a minute ago.
The very first tool we'll pull from our kit is called the range. It's super simple, but really useful. The range just tells us the spread of our data. You find the highest value, find the lowest value, and subtract them. It gives you a quick snapshot of how varied all the scores are.
And check this out. Look at the difference a tiny bit of organization makes. On the left, you've got that chaotic, unsorted data. But on the right, once we sort it from smallest to largest, boom, you can instantly see the lowest score is 7 and the highest is 50. So our range is 50 minus 7, which is 43. See how that simple step immediately revealed something important?
Now we can take our organization to the next level with another awesome tool, the frequency distribution table. This thing is great. It helps us see how often each score pops up. We can easily spot patterns, find clusters of scores, and see if any numbers are really common. It takes the chaos and turns it into a clear, easy-to-read summary.
Okay, our evidence is all neat and organized. Now, we get to the most exciting part of the investigation, uncovering the central clue. What we're looking for is a single number that can kind of represent the whole group, a typical score, if you will.
And to find this central clue, we have three main tools in our detective kit. You've probably heard of them: the mean, the median, and the mode. Each one gives us a slightly different idea of what's typical, and a really good detective knows how to use all three.
First up is the mean. You almost certainly know this by its other name, the average. It's simple. You just add up all the values, and then you divide by how many values you have. The mean is great because it gives us a balanced view since every single piece of data is included in the calculation. So let's calculate the mean for our case. First, we add up all 15 scores, and that gives us a sum of 493. Then, we divide that by the number of students, which is 15. The result? A mean score of 32.87. You can think of this as the balancing point for all the scores. All right, tool number 2, the median. The median is the true middle ground. If you line up all your clues, your data points, in order, the median is the one sitting smack dab in the middle. Half the data is smaller than it, and half is larger. Now, here's the most important part. Do not forget this. You must sort the data first. So let's find the median for our students. We'll use our sorted list from before. Since there are 15 students, which is an odd number, there's a perfect middle spot, the 8th position. We just count our way in,
So let's find the median for our students. We'll use our sorted list from before. Since there are 15 students, which is an odd number, there's a perfect middle spot, the 8th position. We just count our way in.
And the 8th number is 34. So our median is 34. Half the students scored lower, half scored higher. Simple as that. And our final tool is the mode. The mode is maybe the easiest to understand. It's simply the value that shows up most often. It's the most popular, most common clue in our set. Think of a shoe store owner. They need to know the mode of shoe sizes so they can stock up on what most people are going to buy.
So let's look at our sorted list one more time. Which number appears most often? Well, if we scan through, the score 20 appears twice. And hey, 42 also appears twice. Nothing else appears more than that. So in this case, we have two modes, 20 and 42. This is what we call bimodal, and it's a cool clue that might suggest there are two different groups of students in our data.
All right, detectives, we've organized our evidence, we've uncovered the central clues. Now it's time to put it all together, write up our report, and officially close this case.
So, what did our investigation actually tell us? Well, we started with a total mess of raw data. We quickly found the range was 43. Then we organized our clues and uncovered our key numbers, a mean of 32.87, a median of 34, and two modes at 20 and 42. Each one of these numbers tells a slightly different part of the story about these students' scores. Case closed.
Now that you've seen how it's done, it's your turn to be the lead detective. We've got a whole new set of cases ready for you to crack, and they range from pretty easy to pretty tough. So, you ready to test your skills?
Let's start with some easy warm-ups, just to get you going. For instance, number 1 asks for that crucial first step before finding the median, and number 9 wants you to find the mode of a simple set of numbers. Go ahead and pause here, see if you can solve these.
Feeling confident? Awesome. Let's step it up to the medium-level questions. These will require a bit more calculation. Take a look at number 5. That's a great little problem where you have to work backwards from the mean to find a missing number. Give these a try now.
And now, are you ready for a real challenge? These difficult questions will really put your detective skills to the test. Question 2 is a classic exam-style problem, and number 6 makes you think critically about why we use these tools. Don't worry if these take some time. True detective work takes patience.
And that wraps up this investigation. Remember, every number has a story to tell. Once you learn the language of data, you can read them all. So keep practicing, keep asking questions, and stay curious.